What up, YouTube? What's going on? This is Oliver, and I want to share with you something you can apply to your life and actually become what, say, some ancient text like the Kabbalion would call a proper student. So I myself have actually been inside of listening to a couple of different biographies, and something I did a lot as a child that was actually really cool. I don't know, I guess it was intuition that took me to do this. I would go to the library uh, in elementary school, I guess, when I first moved to America, and I would rent out books, and they were usually biographies. I would read them out loud to practice my English. I would read so I could learn the English. But another thing that it really interested me about this type of reading was that I could get to learn, that I could get to see what made these like kind of world class athletes. They were mostly athletes. It was mostly, Michael Jordan, Bruce Lee, all these different people. What made them tick? What were these sort of principles that they applied? And I was sort of taking this in, really, really looking at the time I was, focusing still on like, where did this person come from? What exactly they did? What were their decisions, etc. And really, I share this with you because that's what I see most bad biographies do. So I'm not gonna completely, put this particular biography that I listened to today on blast. But it was a biography about Kobe Bryant. It was by a very major media outlet that covers, a lot of sports news. I'll say no more. The biography was really bad. And then I heard two about Cristiano Ronaldo. One was pretty mediocre. One was pretty good, actually. And it was made by like a random YouTuber. Well, not a random YouTuber. It's actually a guy who has a big channel that covers a lot about soccer, right? About football. And then I listened to a actually pretty nice one about Albert Einstein. So why consume all this knowledge? Why bring all this up? Well, I share this with you guys because, hey, I've been inside of deconstructing and understanding some of the things that these figures do, these people do, if you will, and wanting to understand a little bit more about what they tick, how they tick, etc. I don't normally read too many biographies nowadays. As I said, back in elementary, I read a bunch, but nowadays I'm a lot more concerned with, say, what do I want to do? What's right for me? But which is actually something that I saw in common with a lot of these figures, is that they follow their journey, their calling, their intuition. A lot of them had different pressures from different people, whether it was society. There is no magical society, mystical society out there putting pressure on you, but society, we can call that. It was people, teachers, parents, etc. People who kind of pressure these guys to make certain decisions. And a lot of the brilliant ones, a lot of the ones who turned out to be, world class, basketball, soccer, etc. They were blessed with actually having a parent that understood something really fundamental, which is double down on your strengths. Do what you want to do, what's authentic to you, what's your calling, like what you want or feel turned on by, really lit up by. Don't listen to what other people say, right? So, Kobe, when he was going from college to, when he decided to actually bypass going to college to play college ball, so many people said, oh, you can't do that, oh, you don't have the maturity, blah, blah, blah. NBA is a man's game, it's not a boy's game, yada, yada, yada. He just like, bro, like, I have this chance, I'm gonna do it. Simple, like, in his mind it made sense, so he just did it. Same, actually, with Cristiano Ronaldo, he was told he won't amount to anything. He, blah, 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 made fun of for his socioeconomic status. He's too poor, yada, yada, yada. He had a really wise mother who just said, you know what, just screw it, screw school. Like, you're really good at soccer, just do that shit. Do it, go all in. And then you look where he is today. So why do I share this little anecdote with you? Because these things kind of bleed through on some of these biographies, But most people who create, say, a biography or create a program to coach you or teach you something, they go about it by like going up to a successful person and asking them, what did you do to succeed? Now, most successful people, they hear that question, they immediately, their mind starts blasting off into all the hows, how many hours I slept, how many hours I trained, how many hours I applied, all these different things that make sense to them and the context of their life and their situations. Don't necessarily make sense for you. They're just honestly answering the question to the best of their ability. Honestly, most of us actually lack enough self-awareness to really understand what we do that actually works. Hence why you have such crappy teachings out there, like, oh, become very successful, have lots of money, and you'll feel fulfilled. You'll feel great. And time and time again, you can find, yeah, many successful people who are fulfilled, but you can also find many successful people who are unfulfilled. So success, financial success, or whatever other type of external success, it can be concluded is not the source of fulfillment, because you have pretty much equal numbers of people who are unfulfilled versus fulfilled, who are both successful, right? Yet people, don't think about these things. So as you journey and you choose, don't listen so much to what the people say they do, because it's all thinking. Like, we think this, we think that. But actually look a little bit beneath the layer of the surface and look at what things all these successful people do in common. And more importantly than what they do, pay attention to their mindsets. And more important than their mindsets, pay attention to the vibe, the energy they carry. Most, I could see all these guys who were extreme, greatest of all time, high caliber, elite players of their games, of their craft. And, Einstein was another one I was listening to today. All of these individuals, for example, all had great inspiration. They all, where most people would be focused on limits, all these guys were focused on possibility. All these guys were envisioning and seeing what is possible. And so their entire, that's what people talk about frequencies. Their entire state was an entirely different frequency, granting them access to different thoughts, different mindsets, and these things were incredibly important to them. So when you go out and you start analyzing and breaking apart what other people do, make sure you take that into account. That's first and foremost. And seeing the things that are in common. If one successful guy talks about how much he hustled and one successful guy talks about how much he values family, then neither of those things have anything to do with success, because both people are successful and they're both doing completely different things. Clearly, neither of those things is at all. Now, there is something to work ethic. All the people that I've seen out there, I think they mentioned like Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, didn't have a gift when it came to like handling and dribbling. He just worked at it consistently. There's other guys like Ronaldinho who were just blessed with a gift. So clearly, having talent, being blessed with a gift is not the key to success, clearly. But what they all did is, or at least the ones who stayed good and succeeded consistently for a long time, shots fired, Ronaldinho. What they all did is they cultivated. They put in a lot of hours to cultivate, to improve, to tackle their weaknesses, to double down on their strengths. These are things that are kind of common to all the world-class, elite level, successful people. So you can start to become more of a critical thinker in that sense. Look at kind of these things, guide yourself by vibe, guide yourself by mindsets. And then, the other things are maybe apply to you, maybe they don't. How many hours a week they train, how many coaches they had, did they travel, did they stay where they were, did they get traded from team to team, did they stay in the same team? All these things are circumstantial to the person. All that will make sense to you. Your mind will figure those things out if and when you come to a bridge and have to make those decisions. But that all comes from that vibe, being in that vibe, embodying the inspiration, embodying the passion, the love for your craft, embodying those things. That's how those people made those decisions. And then something else that I wanted to share out of all this is, some of the good things that I saw in these biographies is that they kind of got more inside of that. They got more inside of like telling a narrative or telling a story where you could tell these things, and then they presented the different arguments, the different things that were going on in the person's life, and sort of their thought process, what they decided to do, etc. So when you go out and do this, hopefully this helps you. When you're choosing mentors, this all ties into mentorship, right? Because you're effectively kind of being mentored by this person who left behind the teaching, that biography. If you choose to watch it as sort of a teaching, if you're watching it as entertainment, that's great. You're probably gonna love the one that I said was horrible because it was full of drama. It was full of like Kobe's rape case, rape allegations, and yada yada yada, and how much he, broke his image. So spent 10 minutes talking about his image as a proper family man and how that was tarnished. And I'm like, that's entertainment. That's juicy gossip if that's what you're interested. But that's not going to lead to success. Engaging in those things won't. What is that saying? Real something. I'm going to paraphrase it, but like dumb people discuss other people, great people discuss ideas, something like that. So when you're choosing mentors, another saying I'll leave you with is, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. There's so many mentors out there that, they claim they can get you from here to here. They absolutely know all the keys to success, yada, yada, yada. Do they consistently produce the result you want? That's what you need to be asking yourself. There's lots of great mentors out there. There's also lots of people who are extremely high achievers who are bad mentors. Why? Because they don't really understand the things that they did that resulted in their success. Case in point, why? They could only overcome certain challenges, but they're stuck with the same ones over time. And then another telltale sign is, does this person, do their mentees, do their students consistently produce the result you want? Once you find a system like that, like I'm blessed to, have found Joey Klein, but there's other systems, there's other people out there that I study, that I follow for that reason, because they consistently produce a result and they can consistently teach how to produce a result. And that is rare. Those are the people that you can really listen to. When you find someone like that, don't debate process so much. I see so many people that are like nitpicking things like, well, that kind of makes sense, but like, here's how I've been doing it, so I think I want to stick to that. And my answer to that is, then why are you still stuck? Because the thing you're doing is the thing that has you stuck. If you're going to continue defending and arguing how great it is, well, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're the one asking a question in the first place. You're not getting the result you want. So I'm telling you why you're not getting the result you want. You want to argue, that's fine. And, people do that with me, that's fine. I'm like a small time, I don't really, I give advice when people ask me for it. I really don't like giving advice. I really don't like to think of myself as a teacher or a guru. I'm not in any sort, way, shape, or form. I just like to share it with people, with the things that I know. So I really am a believer of a rising tide raises all boats. I'm such a deep believer of that. I think when we really go out and give and serve the world, it fulfills us in a way that nothing else does. And when we boost everyone else, it boosts us. It's the craziest thing. It's very counterintuitive. I was told, be conservative with your resources, don't share, be protective, guard your knowledge with zealous eyes, hide, never be seen. That was kind of how I was raised, the dogma I was raised by. I see time and time again the biggest, most successful people in all fields, the people who really, really make differences, are the greatest of all times, if you will. They're not really afraid. They're not focusing on being afraid of how other people are gonna take them down. They're not. They have their eyes on where they want to go, not on where they don't want to go. What you have your focus on is what you produce. So if you focus on what you don't want to have happen, it's gonna happen a lot. If you focus on what you want to have happen, it's gonna happen a lot. Focus is what creates outcomes, right? So, minute's already pretty long video. It's already pretty long. We're running on like 15 minutes, but I wanted to share that with you guys. I think that was very key. And yeah, if you got some value out of this, hopefully it helps you as you go and be a student of your, a proper scientist yourself. If you go out and try things and you go out and give yourself fully to things, yeah, be skeptical minded. But if someone's producing the result you want and their students are producing the result you want and they tell you to do something, go try it fully. Try fully 10 times, then report, then say, hey, this works, this doesn't work. But don't, just because it disagrees with your current beliefs or it doesn't feed your confirmation bias, don't use that as criterion. Because in all this process, what really pays is being authentic with ourselves. Hey, I'm not producing the result I want. I better go learn. I really, that's why I think of myself as a student. I'm in a PhD program, right? I'm continuously looking like, hey, if I don't have this down, I gotta go read. I gotta go understand. I gotta go learn. Because, hey, I'm not producing the result I want. I can sit here and tell myself all day that I am, but what good is that gonna do? That's not gonna produce the result I want, right? So, shoot, admit, hey, I don't know. I haven't figured it out. The thing I've done hasn't panned out yet. I'm gonna go learn. It's humbling, but really it's not. Just think of like what makes sense to do. What makes sense to do if you're trying to build something really cool or do something really cool? Experiment or stay the same? Forget what people say, forget being laughed at, forget being ashamed. I was reading Think and Grow Rich. Apparently that's one of the biggest fears that he identified as people having, is people fearing being shamed for failing. Bro, like I said, dumb people discuss other people, great people discuss ideas. Don't worry about the people shaming you. They're completely engaging the wrong thing for themselves. Like for their own life, they're actually engaging the wrong thing. So definitely don't pay attention. Definitely do not take it personally. Definitely do not let it dictate your sense of self-worth and value. Definitely. So, peace. With that, I'll wrap it up and I'm gonna get to enjoy my weekend.